Hello, everybody. I am Zaid Al Baset from the Department of Sociology at St. Xavier's College, Autonomous, Kolkata. My paper for today is titled Investigating Indian Muslim Citizenship, a discourse analysis of memes of APJ Abdul Kalam. Um, on social media, multiple versions of a meme pertaining to the former President of India, APJ Abdul Kalam, are widely circulated. One version reads, "Did you know Muslims think that Hindus hate them? But brothers, it's not true. We hate Ajmal Kasab, not Abdul Kalam. Understand the difference." Ajmal Kasab was a Pakistani terrorist involved in terror attacks in Mumbai, Maharashtra in 2008. Another meme shows images of Abdul Kalam and Swami Vivekananda. On Kalam's image is written, "He is a Muslim, no Hindus hate him." And on Swami Vivekananda's image is written, "He is a Hindu, no Muslims hate him." The line beneath the image reads, "This is India for you." There is yet another version. It displays a quote by Asaduddin Owaisi that reads, "APJ Abdul Kalam was not a true Muslim because he was a vegetarian and read Bhagavad Gita." The tagline of this meme retorts, "Never mind, Mr. Owaisi, he was a true Indian, which you can never be." Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi is the president of a Muslim dominated Indian political party called All India Majlis-e-Ittihadul Muslimin. He himself shared this meme on his Twitter handle, stating that he had launched a complaint with the cyber cell of Hyderabad police to check this false propaganda. These memes, succinct as they are a discursive minefield. The first meme opens a space for a fraternity between Hindus and Muslims in India by dividing Muslims into two types, the bad and the good. The bad Muslim, Ajmal Kasab, is obviously a Pakistani male terrorist. The good one, embodied by APJ Abdul Kalam, needs some exploration and understanding, which this paper will undertake. The second meme establishes an analogy between Abdul Kalam and Swami Vivekananda, who is an icon for Indian nationalism. The third meme is more complex. It produces a tension between being Muslim and being Indian, from both within the community and by the dominant Hindu community. Owaisi's alleged disqualification of Abdul Kalam as a true Muslim in turn disqualifies Owaisi as a true Indian. The paper takes such memes seriously as a vehicle for meaning making, contestation, and negotiation. It acknowledges the potential of meme as forms of verbal arguments to construct stereotypical images of communities, collectivities, contrive specific relationships between communities in a nation, and produce templates for enacting certain forms of normative citizenship. They're also means of political propaganda and tools of socialization. I employ the memes of APJ Abdul Kalam, former President of India, to demonstrate how an ideal form of Indian Muslim citizenship is envisaged through them. A brief historical sketch of Indian Muslims. The partition of India and the creation of Pakistan ensured that Muslims who did stay on in India could not demand separate electorates or proportional representation, concerns which have fueled the separatist movement that led to the division of India on communal lines. Partition fixed the Muslim identity as separatist and communal. Constitutional discourse in India was redefined in terms of nationalism versus separatism, communalism versus secularism. The threat of Muslim separatism and communalism in India ensured the removal of political and economic safeguards for religious minorities in India. Affirmative action in the form of reservations in legislatures, public services, and public education was extended to backward caste and tribes. The Constitution protected the religious freedom and cultural rights of religious minorities, including their right to autonomously govern communitarian institutions. The trade off between cultural rights of minorities and affirmative action for lower caste continues to stifle stray attempts at reservation for Muslim minorities as a whole. However, Muslims do qualify for reservations under the other backward caste category. There has been a persistent otherizing of Muslims in India. Their culture, their adherence to the Muslim personal law, the issue of hijab and women's position in the Muslim community are seen as incompatible with modernity and democracy. The suffering of Muslim women who are subject to excessively patriarchal personal laws in Islam has been a prolific trope to malign the community. The Indian Muslims suffer severe political and economic underrepresentation and often are spatially and culturally ghettoized in India. The global rise of Islamic terrorism did not help the cause of Muslims either. After the fall of the Twin Towers in the USA, the conflation of Islam and terrorism has justified the construction of Muslims as threats to peace and security and as enemies of the state. Anxieties over increasing Muslim population and conversions to Islam, especially of Hindu women duped by Muslim men into marriage called love jihad, stoked as they are by the RSS, have exacerbated demonization of Muslims in India. The election of BJP in May 2014 and their brand of Hindutva nationalism ideologically disqualifies Muslim citizenship on grounds of beef consumption, reluctance to chant Jai Shri Ram, and sundry other reasons. Being branded as anti national, border infiltrators, and Pakistanis has engendered a crest of hatred against Muslims and has contributed to an increased perception of Muslim victimization. The stereotypes of Indian Muslims as anti national, anti modern, culturally backward, religious fundamentalists have exacerbated in contemporary times. APJ Abdul Kalam as the true Indian. Kalam studied aeronautical engineering at IIT Madras, following which he joined Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO. In 1969, he shifted to Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, as the project director of SLV-3 first satellite launch produced in India. In 1982, Kalam rejoined DRDO and was associated with the production of many successful missiles, earning him the moniker the Missile Man. He was the scientific advisor to the defense minister from 1992 to 1997 and has played a significant role in the growth of India's nuclear power. Kalam was nominated by the BDP led National Democratic Alliance (NDA) for the position of the president. The Indian National Congress also supported his candidature, further cementing his universal appeal. Kalam was elected president and served as the 11th president of India from 2002 to 2007. Kalam is the author of several books and the recipient of the highest civil honors of the country. There are many image macros of Kalam that circulate on the internet, celebrating his colossal achievements. These achievements secure his identity as a true Indian who was dedicated to the progress and the development of the nation. A significant element of his true Indian status relates to his syncretic religious beliefs, his deep appreciation for all religions, and his embrace of humanitarian principles and communal harmony. This aspect of his persona is vigorously reinforced through many image macros of him that circulate in social media, especially Facebook and Twitter. In one of the memes, there is an image of Abdul Kalam paying obeisance with folded hands to the idol of a Hindu saint. And the superimposed text on top reads, he was a Muslim, still he used to worship every god. He taught us that humanity is above everything. At the bottom of the image, the superimposed text reads, that's why we respect him so much, followed by the folded hand emoticon. In another meme addressing his secular nationalism, there is an image of APJ Abdul Kalam lighting a lamp, and he's inaugurating an event with his words superimposed below. And I quote, I'm a Muslim. I'm lighting a Hindu lamp using a Christian candle. Same should be the unity of the country. The brand of secular nationalism that these images appear to perform, according respect to all religions and emphasizing national unity, is premised on a specific erasure of cultural markers that otherize Indian Muslims in the country, essentially perceived as inward looking, uneducated religious bigots. Kalam's performance of secularism and his ever rising stature in the nation is able to deflect the prejudice that visibly Muslim identifying and fashioning may invite. This becomes apparent through the comparison made between Owaisi and Kalam. In another version of the image macros meme of Kalam lighting a lamp, an image of Owaisi is placed towards the end with a sentence, not people like Owaisi who insist on dividing the country. Asaduddin Owaisi wears his Muslim identity sartorially and through speeches more vociferously. His party is interested in the social, economic, and political development of the Muslim minorities. In a political milieu where attempts at Muslim empowerment may slip easily into political accusations of Muslim appeasement, a political figure like Owaisi is easily diminished to his status of being a communal Muslim. Such accusations are not easily leveled at Kalam, for his calls for techno-scientific development or education address the more general Indian citizen rather than the beleaguered Muslim minority. Despite this, APJ Abdul Kalam's Muslimness did come under the scanner following his nomination and subsequent election as the 11th President of India in 2002. On 19th June 2002, in an English daily newspaper, The Asian Age, Dr. Rafiq Zakaria, in an op-ed titled What's Muslim About Abdul Kalam, challenged Kalam's appellation as a Muslim president. He began by noting Kalam's many achievements, including the Bharat Ratna Award, and his mentioned his enormous contribution to research to India's defense system that had won him the title the Missile Man. Zakaria's grouse was that Kalam had refused to participate in Muslim community life. He had turned down invitations by Muslim organizations to be present as chief guest during religious events or deliver a lecture in praise of the Prophet. Zakaria accused Kalam of showing no interest in Muslim affairs and having no affiliation to Islamic practices and conventions, unlike the two former Muslim presidents, Dr. Zakir Hussain and Dr. Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad. He states Dr. Kalam never reads the Quran, but every morning he goes through the Gita and is enchanted by it. He is sincerely devoted to Lord Krishna. He recites the Hindu mantras on every occasion. Namaz does not appeal, nor has he ever fasted in the month of Ramzan. He is a strict vegetarian and a lifelong brahmachari. His roots are really in Hinduism, and he enjoys all the sacred scriptures. Hence, the credit for his elevation in communal terms should go to the Hindus. To give it to the Muslims would be wrong. A report titled Kalam and Islam was published in Outlook, which is a magazine, by Najid Hussain. He provided a more balanced view of the situation. He began by praising the unifying character of the Hindu philosophy. He credits Kalam for going beyond religious boundaries, respecting all faith and embracing humanity. Kalam's persona, he argues, challenges the notion of Muslims as anti national and intolerant to other faiths. Hussain also hints at the political nature of his election, supported by the BJP in the aftermath of the Godhra riots. He also points out that Kalam is universally liked by Hindus and Muslims because he had a successful career. APJ Abdul Kalam is a middle class icon. Kalam's syncretism may have earned him disapproval from some devout core religionists, but it definitely eased his acceptance as a proud nationalist. However, Kalam's syncretism alone cannot account for him representing the model for Muslim becoming in India. The clue lies in his life story. Kalam was born to parents from a humble background. He sold newspapers to supplement his family income. Education was the key to his success. He eventually became the President of India. He has published several books and is often quoted in public speeches and writings. And by the dint of all this, he also represents the apogee of middle class aspirations. Education, science, diligence, success, and nationalism coalesced to produce his formidable story. Being Muslim in India discursively entails being backward, poor, anti national, and steeped in dogma. Because Kalam cannot be encompassed within this paradigm of a typical Muslim, he stands out and becomes exemplary. Kalam's story may be singular in its achievement, but not in terms of process and structure. It's a tale of middle class aspiration and its possibilities. Kalam had his education and graduated as an aerospace scientist in the early post colonial period, but his celebrity status as a national figure coincided with the period after the economy had been opened up. So, in a sense, he embodied the transition of the middle class from Nehruvian developmentalism to the globalization of the 2000s, as many as 5 decades of the post-colonial period. Kalam's story can be seen as a template for normative citizenship for Muslims in the country, one where overt markers of Muslimness are undone by cultural assimilation and material success. Memes as sites of resistance. The meme that I began the essay with, the one that pits the nationalist Muslim Kalam against the Pakistani terrorist Ajmal Kasab was employed by the RSS-backed Muslim Rashtriya Manch, which launched a nationwide campaign urging Muslim students to adopt Kalam as a role model. In order to divert students from being radicalized into becoming like Ajmal Kasab, a terrorist, Kalam ideologies of patriotism, growth, and progress were encouraged. The virtual afterlife of APJ Abdul Kalam through these image macro memes also impinge on actual use of his image as a patriot, as a tool for political propaganda, especially by the Hindu nationalists. Memes, however, are also sites of contestation, resistance, and the subversion of meanings that sediment in the minds of people through constant circulation. While I was meme hunting on the internet while writing this paper, I chanced upon a meme where APJ Kalam appears to have turned against his most staunch supporters, the Hindutva Brigade. The meme in question has a close up of APJ Abdul Kalam looking both skeptical and thoughtful. On top of the meme is a question: India 2020, superpower? At the bottom is the text: Sorry, I couldn't expect the Sanghi invasion. The image implies that Abdul Kalam did not expect that the Sanghi invasion, that is Hindutva politics, would come in the way of India becoming a superpower in 2020. The meme suggests that APJ Abdul Kalam, the missile man, could not defend the nation against the onslaught of Hindu politics. APJ Abdul Kalam died in 2015, a year after the BJP assumed state power. In 1998, he had created a blueprint for India to become a developed nation in 2020, which was called Technology Vision 2020. India today is engulfed by Hindutva politics, crony capitalism, and Islamophobia. And perhaps this vision has not been realized. The image macros of a Kalam who could not expect this in 2020 reclaims him not as a poster boy of Hindutva, but as a defender of secular democratic vision of India. Now, I'm really sorry that I was not able to show you the images, while the presentation was on, but I think that before we end, it would only be right if I showed you some of the memes that I have used in my presentation about APJ Abdul Kalam. So I'll very quickly share my PowerPoint, which has all these images to just give you a sense of the whole of these images. So I hope you will be able to see the images. So here they are. So as you can see here, APJ Abdul Kalam is being pitted against Ajmal Kasab, who is, a terrorist. And uh, then again, as you can see, you have Asaduddin Owaisi, who's accusing him of not being a true Muslim because he's actually a vegetarian and reads Bhagavad Gita. And then you have a line towards the end which says, never mind, Mr. Owaisi, he was a true Indian, which, you can never be. Likewise, you see how his religious syncretism is being shown through this image, which is he was a Muslim, still he used to worship every god. He taught us that humanity is above everything, and that's why we respect it so much. Again, you can see, his quote is being circulated with him trying to light a lamp, which sort of brings in all religions together. And there is another snide remark at OAC, where saying that OAC isn't like Abdul Kalam. And finally, the last meme, which sort of tries to show that APJ Abdul Kalam is critiquing the situation in India because it didn't turn out to be the way he would have envisaged, the notion of India's development. So here he says that, sorry, I couldn't expect the Sanki invasion, which is the rise of the Hindu politics in India. So thank you so much.